But with the bipolar, that is where you have kind of these dangerous highs. And I say dangerous because for me, it's almost worse than the lower state of bipolar. So when I go on a high, and the teen show comes out, which to be honest doesn't happen very often anymore, that's kind of the old days. For now, what I do is I go spend loads of money. I spend money that I haven't got. I get really hyperactive and I laugh and I joke and I literally can't stop jumping. Like I'll literally be jumping in the air, physically running around. So, I mean, it sounds like it's not really a bad thing, but when you wake up like a few days later, however long that high has been running for, when it hits you and you snap out of it and your bank account's like low or negative, and you know when you go and have some drinks or you do whatever, drugs or whatever, and you have the come down, I don't know if it's the same for you, but I always hit the shame train. Like that feeling of overwhelming guilt. Fuck, what did I do? I've done something terrible. Like people are judging me. And sometimes even if I haven't done anything wrong, with the bipolar thing, after a high, that's exactly what it is. It's I can't face the world and I'll have to come off Facebook and Instagram for like weeks at a time because I feel like even if it's just like one story that I think I've shared that might have given some sort of insight into me being a nutcase, like I then completely close off and go back into my shell. So that's the high side of bipolar, and then the lower side is just it's the darkest depths of depression, like literally, and digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into that pit of self-doubt, self-sabotage. Probably my biggest thing is the amount that I just literally pull myself apart before finally sort of, having to reach that really bad bottom place to be able to one day go, all right, you're the only one that can sort this out. Crack on, like, what are you going to do to make this better? So deepest, darkest depths of depression and the highest of highs, but not really a happy high. It's not like you're ecstatic. It's all just completely fake. Nothing's real. It's kind of like a drug fantasy, if you will, if that resonates with you at all.
I can relate on a very, very minor level, but I've had times when I've kind of felt myself getting excited, and I'm talking, and then what I'm saying is not necessarily relevant to the reality around me, and I start saying things that I don't necessarily just too much, and then I've had it where people just been like just calm down. And I'm like, what? And I feel great in a way. I'm just like, ah, and it's like, they're just like, just chill out. And it's like, oh. And I guess, I feel shameful that I'm being told to calm down. Like, I feel like it's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's when it kind of hits you. Like,
it's like, oh.
What am I doing? And I think I've got to say, like, I can imagine that you feel little bits of that here and there. I think I've probably seen bits of that in the past, because I really don't believe that, one person has this diagnosis, this diagnosis, this diagnosis. I think that everyone has a little bit of everything. Like I, for example, believe that I have quite a lot more of different mental illnesses, like on the scale of it all. But I really do believe that most people have a tiny bit of all traits, if you know what I mean. It's just how much you acknowledge it and how much control you have over it. But
I've certainly witnessed symptoms within myself of these different things become greater and lesser in my life, even though they're not on an extreme. My anxiety has been extreme, but the other things. But I've certainly experienced myself sliding up and down these spectrums at times. And I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything. But these labels are modern. They've only just they've psychologists are what they're really good at is thinking of new names for stuff. and yeah, sure, it labels it categorizes behavior, but it doesn't. But it's certainly not something that you are, is it? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. Someone said something to me, one of my friends actually, a couple of years back, and I was at the time going, yeah, you're right. And he said, everyone's anxious these days. It's anxiety this, anxiety that. And I do think the word gets thrown around a lot. As with like depression, oh, I'm totally depressed and everything. Well, are you? But it's this new age that we live in, like this social media age, this Netflix era, this like having everything here and now, and you've got to be talking to everybody on social media as well as socializing, as well as self-care, as well as like getting involved in it, like charity and matters that you believe in and things like that. It's you've got to be involved with everything all at once. So I'm not surprised that mental health like is becoming more of a thing, because it's getting a bit out of control, I think, and it's quite scary where the world is heading and how overwhelming it can get, feeling like you've got to be involved in all of these things. And I don't know about you, but I get this terrible guilt. I mean, guilt and shame are some of the things that I feel most days, no, every day, most of the day, like about something or other. But like for me, you know, like Messenger conversations and WhatsApp, you've got all these different apps, they're all going off in messages. For me, I barely can keep up with my day-to-day life without looking at my phone. I come off social media quite a lot because I can't handle it. I can't reply to messages. I can't even look at the messages, because then I'll reply and then they'll reply and then I've got to deal with it all over again. So I have this huge guilty feeling that I've got all of these messages racked up from even when I was pregnant, and I've not spoken to some of my family members, some of my closest friends in the whole world, because I just can't keep up. So it wouldn't surprise me that pretty much everyone is really struggling with that one as well.